Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey Skatedown. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. I want to do a video on Timo Meyer. Are the Devils looking elsewhere because Timo Meyer might be too expensive on his next contract? So I want to talk about that in this video, so please stay with me throughout. So the price for Timo Meyer was recently released. It sounds like 3 pieces. What I'm hearing for Timo Meyer is a first rounder, 1 grade A or 2 grade B prospects, or 1 good prospect and a young established player. The Devils have the assets to pull off the trade, but the thing that scares me is his contract going forward. We all know of his $10 million qualifying offer, but Pierre LeBron said, if the qualifying offer is scaring teams, just know that he won't come much cheaper on an extension. I think the ask on a new contract starts with at least 9. So that's scary if you're a Devils fan. When you're thinking about, the Devils do have the cap space going forward to do that, but should they do that? That's the main thing. You have Jesper Bratt looking for a new contract, and he's looking for a lot too. Tom Fitzgerald has went out and openly said they're targeting a top 6 winger that he wants to keep in the same price range as Hughes and Hischier. And, with keeping Bratt and bringing in Meyer, it's going to be difficult to build a roster. But, the Devils are in a good situation going forward. Next year, they have a ton of cap space coming off. When you're looking at other players, you got to look at other players around the Devils organization. Mercer's going to need a new contract after his one's up. So look for him getting a bridge deal of more. You're going to look at what you're going to do going forward with Jesper Bratt, Tyce Thompson, Fabian Zetterlund. Those are players that they're cost effective. You can keep them around. So to build out the bottom 6, you have that option for the Devils. You're not looking at bringing in free agents. Maybe you want to, but maybe you're not looking at doing that because they were able to help us throughout this year. Eric Holla could be brought back on the cheap. He's not going to command a lot. If you're looking at that option, then you have McLeod and Bastian, 2 other options on our BMW line that are not going to be pricey on their deals going forward. So that's where I say the Devils have the luxury to do this. They have the assets to pull off a trade. They have the pieces on their roster that are not going to command too much money. Miles Wood, to me, on his next deal might want more than he's currently making now. I think he signed a 1-year, $3.2 million contract. So look for him to get at least 3.5 or 4 on his next deal, and see what happens with the Devils with that. As far as trying to get a power forward, they're coming at a price as well now. And, Miles Wood might be a discount at that if you're looking at that. So with the year he's having. So, a lot of questions surrounding Timo Meyer on this contract. But, Elliot Friedman did come out and say that the Devils are still the favorites to land Timo Meyer. I would absolutely love to land Timo Meyer, but you have to consider this going forward. When you're thinking about how to construct a team, when you see so many players are playing well, the Devils could do it. They could do it. They could bring him in. They have the cap space going forward to actually fit him in with his qualifying offer. So not a lot of teams can do that. But the thing that scares me is that next contract. What are we looking at? You don't want to give him too much, and then you have to later when Simon Nemec and Luke Hughes need new deals. They're going to command a lot. You don't want to be in that cap crunch where you have to trade off all these players to fit them in on their new contract. So, I like having this luxury of the cap space, but when you're trying to build a winning team and the Devils are getting there, you're going to have to make these bold moves. And, I'm curious to see what Tom Fitzgerald does at this NHL trade deadline. So, but there is options out there. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. Elliot Friedman mentioned on his 32 Thoughts podcast that the New Jersey Devils have had interest in acquiring Tarasenko in the past. Last year, we were heavily in trade rumors trying to acquire him. The St. Louis Blues held on to him and, thought about doing it this year. So that's an option that's out there. He also went on to say that Timo Meyer's name is also in the mix, but now it seems possible that the Devils could be targeting Tarasenko as well. Looking at Tarasenko, you have to consider his age. You have to consider he's a UFA. I know Fitzgerald said he doesn't want to bring in UFAs, but if he brings in Tarasenko and if he spends assets to get it. You could also bring back Tarasenko on a 1 to 2 year deal or a 2 to 3 year deal. He'd still be under that 35-year clause. So he's currently 31 years old, 6'1", 228 pounds. So he's got a solid frame. I know he's shortly coming back from injury, so that's a positive for the St. Louis Blues if they're looking to move him. So far this year, he's played in 38 games, 10 goals, 19 assists for 29 points. So he's not having that bad of a year. Following his last year, which was really good. Proved all the doubters wrong. A lot of people were saying that, he's done with the shoulder surgery and all the injuries he's had in the past. But last year he put up a solid year. 34 goals, 48 assists for 82 points. So, of course, you got to consider his injury history when you're looking to spend assets to bring him in. And his age, he's at 31. So, he's definitely an option that's out there. A lot of teams are going to look to try to acquire Vladimir Tarasenko. So, we'll see what happens with the Devils if they're going to try to do that. And you also got to consider Brock Boeser. With the recent Bo Horvat trade to the New York Islanders, the Vancouver Canucks are looking to trade and possibly trade off pretty fast. With the Connor Bedard sweepstakes and, they're being in a better position to offload all their better players now to try to get in the best position possible to get him. You're going to see other players being possibly traded from the Vancouver Canucks. They came out and said that Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, and Andrei Kuzmenko are pieces of their new core going forward. So whatever's left, if they find a good trade partner for the rest of the other players, we're going to see what happens with the Vancouver Canucks. But looking at Boeser, he's another option that's out there. He's 25 years old, so he kind of fits the age of where the Devils at now. He's 6'1", 208 pounds, so he's got a pretty solid frame. The thing that's scaring a lot of people off is his cap hit. He's currently making $6.65 million. His contract expires at the end of the 24-25 season, so you're getting him with a bit of term. This year, he's played in 41 games, 9 goals, 21 assists for 30 points. Not bad. He's projected to be at the 60-point range this year, so we'll see if that happens. But if Vancouver can retain some salary, and you're hearing some of those mock trades going out there, but Vancouver Canucks, if they're looking to hold on to some of that salary, I'm not talking about a lot. Maybe you get him down to 5 million, 5.5 around there. Maybe that could be a situation where they can acquire more assets from the team for them retaining some of his salary. So, maybe you're looking at a first-round pick. Maybe you're looking at a second and a good prospect, or a pick and a good player. So we'll see what happens with the Vancouver Canucks. I think they're going to make several trades leading up to the trade deadline. You're hearing a lot of names being thrown around from their roster, but, they're currently in a rebuild mode and, trying to get into the best position to try to get Connor Bedard for this upcoming draft. So we'll see what happens, but the Devils do have options out there. Again, I would absolutely love to land Timo Meyer. I think he'd be a hell of a player on this team and would be a solid acquisition for this team to bring in a goal scorer of that magnitude, especially to play with the Hughes or a Hischier. But, there's options out there. If the Devils want to consider contracts going forward and go a cheaper route and not spending as much to acquire a player and to keep them for a bit more years, they may think about looking at Tarasenko and Brock Boeser. Not both of them, but one of them. But, we'll see what happens. The NHL trade deadline is coming up, so we'll see what happens with the Devils and what they do. I'm curious to see what Fitzgerald does leading up to this trade deadline. So comment below what you think about this. Do you still want to go for Timo Meyer, knowing that he wants to make $9+ million on his next deal? Or do you want to go for a cheaper option? And list your options in the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Smash that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to Hockey Skatedown. It's free. And join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Stay safe.